Hi class, this is Professor Bay. I just wanted to go over some of the answers of the assignment number 1. So, you really have to know the differences between classical liberalism and nationalism because these are two different ideologies that, leaders of Latin America will take on. So, depending on whether the president follows liberalism or nationalism, the country will change dramatically in many of its policies and the economy and the society. So some of the features that you have to write 5, but there's way more than 5. So classical liberalism, for example, is not for the welfare of the disadvantaged people. They tend to make the rich richer, the middle class more middle class, and the poor more poor. So there's no mobility, kind of like in some ways they're stuck in there. And it means limited government and economic laissez-faire. Let allow the market to take its place in the global economy, foreign investors coming into the country and investing and all that. So free market without interference from the government. Progress over tradition, reason over faith. Okay, so not as religious. Universal over local values. So, more universal. And they don't value the local, traditions. Free market over government control. They were friends of the United States. Liberalism is friends of the United States and international capitalism. Globalization program oriented towards like European and US models. And further empowered and benefited the rich. So they're not for the welfare of everybody, and especially the poor. Okay, and free market, it's a big deal. Free market, less government involvement, and less religious, more progress, right, over tradition. So you can see some of the features that you can study for the test. As for the nationalism, the nations should rule themselves. They believe in decolonization around the world, that they should be governing themselves as a nation, right? And focusing on the people of the nation. So they are for the welfare of everybody, including the poor. It is neither the right nor the left on the political spectrum, and challenge the free trade. Okay, so over here in liberalism you have free trade, but over here you have challenging the free trade. They appeal to national uniqueness and authenticity. So they really value the national traditions, as you will see with the nationalism, and take care of its own, especially the weaker members, the poor people. And socialists, social democrats who stand to the left of liberals on the political spectrum. You can also find it on here. And most countries of Latin America have nationalist presidents, supported by those who have not benefited from globalization. And as we go through the history, you will see they go back and forth. They would have liberalism, and then it switches to nationalism, and stuff like that, depending on the leader. So remember, very opposing ideas, right? So you can kind of see and really try to study for yourself. What is liberalism, right? And what is nationalism? And like the name says, right? Nations looking after themselves, including the poor, making it more like local production, national production of goods and stuff like that. You will see later on in more examples. But you have to know these two ideologies in order to understand a little bit better the politics of Latin America. So please go over it. I'm sure you did the homework, but make the corrections. You can pause on this video and do all that stuff. Another thing that I wanted to go over is the reflection question that we had, okay? On module 2.1 reflection question. So looking at number 1, number 2, you can do whatever you want. You have to choose the country that you like to visit, right? So that one is free. But number 1, I wanted to make sure that you understand. So what is the contrast among various Latin American countries, and describe at least one thing, okay? And what is the one historical narrative that combines them together? The one historical narrative that combines them together is conquest and colonization. I'm going to repeat one more time. The one historical narrative that combines them together is conquest and colonization. In that, they're very like united. Okay, how they gain independence from Spain. The independence movements, they have similarities but also a lot of differences among the countries. So the main thing will be conquest and colonization, okay, at the beginning that joins them together. In terms of contrast, there are many things. One major thing is climate. Do you see how there are different climates all over Latin America? So you will see the climate differences, the lowlands, the highlands, the southern tip has glaciers, and Antarctic influences. So you can have the tropical, all the different climates that you find in Latin America. And also you have to make a note that some of the countries are like have bigger population. They have mega cities, and because of that, they're able to develop their economy better in some way than those more smaller and poorer countries that have more indigenous population. So there are many differences, but the one historical narrative that combines them together is conquest and colonization. Due to that, you have the same common language, which is Spanish, the same common religion, Catholic religion, and all those features in these countries. And that's it. I just wanted to go over that with you guys. Okay. Bye.